Spencer Pratt. Damn, dude. That dude got fucked. Amazing. Exposing it. Exposing the BS that's going on in our government. It's not it's not Trump doing that. It's the oversight. It's the other people that hate Trump that are doing this to our country. I need to have a conversation about the attention market once again, because it feels like that message hasn't gotten across to people yet, and that's like the smoking gun is the attention market. Excuse me while I shave and stuff while I'm on stream, but the attention market isn't like something official, like, oh, we go to the attention exchange or something like that. It's more like a decentralized in a way, but not really. Centralized system of control. And these are the gangs that end up taking out those who speak out against them, and many of the people who speak out against the gangs, the attention market, have no idea they're speaking out against them. So yeah, some people could say there's an attention market run by people in India, there's attention market run by people in China, and there's attention markets run by people in America. There's people in the attention market, but you have to look at it basically as it's a gang. And they're doing things like giving fake stories to the media so that the media can go and make money on hype rather than the actual truth. They make you think that your fellow neighbors, your fellow Americans, don't believe in the same ideology that you do. They want to sow chaos. Those are the true elite. Those are the people who are controlling your eyeballs. That's why Illuminati, they got the whatever. So it all pieces together. That's the attention market. I am at a higher risk than most people by saying this, because I am actually exposing the true side of the corruption. It is the attention market controlling the narrative. That's what's going on. They end up watching people like me and making sure that I don't say too much. That's why I'll have trolls rolling through my comments saying nasty things. It's a psychology play. It may even be run by the CIA. Piece it all together. It's an attention market. They're trying to grab your attention and pull you over here and support this or support that. They're trying to pull you on a leash and make you believe in this or make you believe in that. So I saw that most best when I was watching the chat in people pumping a token, and I was seeing their sentiment change. So you can see when the people that want to control the stuff are actually holding, let's say in this case, a token that they normally wouldn't buy into. They're not looking at the token actually being successful. They're looking at getting the most governance power. Governance in the way that they can control the chart and then control emotions and then make more money. So if they can get you to think that somehow these trolls know something you don't know, or get the chat to think that, oh, these trolls definitely see something that I don't see, heard something that I didn't hear, then they can get you to sell. And if you sell, they get in for lower. And then then you got people supporting the project that are like, hey, this token's perfectly fine, it's sound. And then people get back in again, but you see these same trolls coming in and saying, yeah, pump the coin, yeah. So they're playing both sides. You see what I mean? That's the attention market. The attention market, people that took out music industry people. That's what's going on. It goes deep. The conspiracy goes deep. Spencer Pratt should have won that election based on the first, like, he should have at least had the chance to be the primary. I don't think that they've actually done the full election yet, have they? I don't think the one has won over the other yet. I think that was like the qualifying race. And they booted him out, but it was all based on mail-in ballots and media bullshit. So they're sending it in the media like, oh, look at the chart. Oh, it looks like this lady's going to just, blow Spencer Pratt away. And she's way down here. Like the chart's looking way down here. And they're like, oh, this lady that nobody's heard of before, she's totally got it. You got Spencer Pratt going viral. You're telling me he didn't win that shit? Come on. I didn't see this. I don't even know the freaking chick's name. I just know that it's a chick that was running against, the mayor that's already there, the incumbent mayor, and, whoever might be fighting for that primary for the actual election. So somebody that went viral didn't get elected. Somebody that didn't go viral, nobody knows who the hell she is, ended up rising above that person who went viral just through mail-in ballots? What do they have, some kind of secret society of people at their home that they're like, oh, you're stuck at your home, you don't go outside of your cave, we're going to give you all this bullshit and false information? Even if, let's say, those are legitimate ballots that came in through the mail, what is really going on? Are these people stuck in a Plato's cave where they all vote for the same damn person? Or is it rigged? It looks like it may have been rigged. It's kind of the both. Let's just imagine. Those people are stuck in a cave. They only hear what people come to tell them about in their own little space, in their own little, bubble of information. And they get to sway that vote because they got that person's attention. That's who's running the attention market. The people that are going to these houses, spreading this influence, goading people into doing this or doing that, rather than having somebody go viral. People are interested in them. People want to watch the videos. Cool commercial, cool ad. Making change. Not Obama change, real change. That's why the attention market, basically they tear things down. Because if they're not in charge, they don't want it to succeed. That I was able to clearly see this in the charts during a token run to see how these trolls come in, these trolls at that point, but they're really the attention market controls. They come in, they make these wild predictions or wild claims, and they say it in such a way that it looks botted, right? Distraction, right? It looks like botted activity. And that's because the attention market assholes aren't really that much human. They're also in that cave. So in order to, know how to reach a person that's stuck in a cave and manipulate them and everything, they got to be stuck in that cave too. And that's where they're at. So they're kind of dumb. Like, the reason why you see, like, some of them succeed all of a sudden is because they figured out a new way to manipulate people. You saw, like, with this whole Nick Fuentes and cringe stream sort of streamers in politics, you saw them say, Israel's bad. And you saw them say all these things. It was a psyop because they were being tricked by an attention market to believe that, oh, the enemy isn't the people that are threatening nuclear devastation of the world. It's the people that we've been partners with for the last 20, 30, 40 years, with Israel. I don't know exactly how long, our relationship with Israel absolutely dates back to, but the whole thing is the attention market. Look into it. It's nothing official, but you can understand what it is by simply knowing about the Brave browser. Basic attention token. You got paid in a basic attention token. This is the best way to understand it if you don't know about it. You got paid in a token that is like, it's tokenized attention. So somebody paid for ad space on the Brave browser and you got paid for viewing that ad. So they paid you for your attention. That's a decentralized attention market. A centralized attention market is kind of what you see in mainstream media. That's what you see. That's what you're like. Most people are being manipulated by. Normies are being manipulated by the mainstream, what you see on a television, that you pay like a certain subscription to get access to all these channels. And if you don't see outside of these channels, you don't go on YouTube and do any research. You don't go out there and actually talk to people from different countries and see what's really going on. You know, you're stuck in, I'm going to vote for this person specifically because this is what I've heard in my own little tiny Plato's cave. So that's what you got going on. If this wasn't like a planned event, then it's simply fraud just because these people are unable to make an informed decision. They don't see all the information. I know what the people in that area are doing because I can actually now identify it as the attention market. I see the both sides. The people stuck in those caves don't see both sides. That's how they can continue to control. And that's why getting the information out, talking about what's really going on, is how you break that. Is bringing awareness to people so they can make an informed decision. That's why what I'm doing can be helpful if it reaches certain people. And that's why the attention market is going to make sure that my channel doesn't reach those normies. That's why they're going to make my link to my live stream, even though it's a public live stream, not work. That's why they're going to make somebody who just joined my channel and is actually there for happy comments, a good time. That's why you'll see that person unable to make a comment. A lot of these moderators know about the attention market because they're seeing it. They're moderators. They see all of it. So they know about this attention market. They know about the gangs, and they're in those gangs. So you wonder why all these policies, all this, oh, we're going to copyright your video over something stupid, and we know it's wrong, but we're going to go ahead and still copyright it. That's the attention market. Sitting like a freaking troll in the dark inside the moderation teams. And they've been able to infiltrate them. Sounds like a CIA operation to me. Sounds like it based on historical information. The kind of operations that they've done before. And then when you look at how much you can control, if you control the attention market, then you'll see it's automatically a gang. Like the ad space. That's why you're seeing Facebook constantly in your ads. That's why you're seeing Chime banking. Even though you can't actually make any purchase that you want in Chime Bank. It's known as an internet bank, so you don't actually have access to all the features that you would do with a normal bank. And yet that shit's getting sent to you in your face. You know what I mean? Like, it's a completely useless platform, but it's because they paid for that attention. Your attention is worth something. That's why you get paid through ad revenue. So the attention market is the true, in a way, Illuminati. They're trying to grab your eyes. They're trying to get you to look. That's the whole point. That's how everything's controlled. That's what people have been saying. That's what Trump knows. So that's how you've been tricked to think that Spencer Pratt wouldn't have won the election and didn't win the election, because they were not in those spaces, in those caves, talking about how Spencer Pratt was in the lead. They didn't say anything about it. I had to go search up, where are we at in this race? I wasn't seeing anything about it on the first day. Why? Because they were hiding that information. They were not publicizing it until the next day. They were like, oh, well, this is what seemed to have happened, but it's all fake, because look at what's going on now. You see this other person on the ballot going up and up and up, but those were all mail-in ballots from people stuck in a Plato's cave or stuck out on the streets. They don't know what's actually going on because they're not doing any actual research. They don't know what's actually going on with the White House. They don't know any of that shit. They don't know there's fraud going on. They could have a place to live, but no. We're giving that money to people who broke into the country instead. That shit's getting, sucked up by fraud. So those homeless people have no idea that that's what's going on, and it's caused by the people that they're electing and that they're forced to elect because they're stuck in that Plato's cave. They think that that person's the savior. That's why everybody needs to be spreading the message that people need to start using their heads and start looking into things. Be an adult. Be a human. Be aware. That's how we're getting into this mess. We're not being aware. And these big companies don't seem to want to make us aware of the facts. You know, on YouTube, I'm a creator. I get comments. I've been asked to do weird stuff on my live. Well, first of all, shouldn't there be like some kind of a filter that YouTube, you know, has? It's going to find these comments that says really weird stuff. They'll find the violent comments only when they say it's violent, even though it's not violent. But they can't find the people like making requests to people who are live or making requests in comments that are weird. That they can't find those. They can't put that together or anything. They're just going to go after the people that have a political opinion that's different than them. And then on top of that, they're not going to maybe put an awareness message for me, the creator. Hey, careful. There may be people that make comments, ask you to tell you where you live. Well, remember the guidelines. Oh, there's, you know, privacy. Keep your privacy. Don't give your information. That's said in the chat. It's not even popped up as like a full message like, hey, this is your first time talking on a video? Careful, don't give your personal information. None of that shit. That's because these big companies don't give a fuck about that. They want you to stay stupid. Wait, you don't think that they've thought of that already? Like maybe to actually do that because they would want to make their platform better, pull in some prominent individuals that actually care about proper procedure? No. Yeah, of course. Because their goal isn't to actually fix anything. Their goal has been just to make the money. And we've already been able to pretty much confirm this in court. Like they've been sued for this kind of stuff. But they haven't done anything past that to actually fix the problem long term after they got, you know, pursued through law. So the attention market is a game. Have in your mind, they're trying to buy your attention, you know, through ads. They're trying to get you over, like if you're going to use an ad over here and it has this kind of, they can control you. They can kind of groom you into accepting certain things over other things. And they can tickle the panic receptors in your brain, and they can tickle the red flag receptors in your brain. That's the kind of shit that they're doing. And it's obvious that if that's what they're doing, then they must be trained to be doing that. And it would seem that who's the most trained to do that? The CIA. Like, who's viewing my channel right now? Because, like, who's actually coming here and viewing my channel? First of all, I'm getting no comments at all in this conversation. It looks like a lot of the volume of the people that have been watching me live are these rich people that are trying to hold control, and they're watching closely to what I'm saying. That's what it looks like to me. I've seen people sit on my stream for an entire hour and a half while I'm ranting. And they hadn't said a damn single thing. And this was like at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody was going to join the stream. Nobody was going to be there. But I said to them, I was like, hey, comment, say something. That's so strange. But that's the kind of, you know, stuff that you can expect online. It's just a bunch of, in a way, stalkers and investigators. And, you know, in what are these people actually making their money on if all they're doing is watching? Oh, they're watching and they're trying to find out how to get your attention. That's what they're doing. They're trying to see how they can win you over. Because your mind is worth, it's priceless to them. And really to anybody, but people don't understand that. Like being good to people, being good to each other and being cordial and stuff, that's like, that goes a long way. It's worth a lot to you. It's worth way more than you think it is to even yourself. Being good to people is worth way more than you think, because guess what? You don't receive the reward immediately. You might receive a thank you. But that kind of stuff pays off years down the road. You know, it pays off later. That's how you should always think, you know, about anything. But the point is that attention markets, they're trying to grab your attention. That's the goal. And what are they trying to grab your attention for? Whatever pays in their, you know, in their dark space. And if, let's say, we have autonomy of our mind, then they cannot pay for our attention so easily. So if we're poor, then they can pay for our attention easily because we don't have much of an option. We have to see this. We don't have the time to go on a phone and do all this. We got to watch our back, make sure nobody takes our bag while we're sleeping on a fucking sidewalk. That's the kind of shit, you know, they want to put us in a desperate situation to where we can't defend ourselves, but so that we can't do any research either. I wouldn't know half this shit if I hadn't been paying attention. And if I hadn't had access to that information. So, anyways, yeah, so that's why I say about the survival stuff. Learn how to survive before you have to learn how to survive. Because you don't want to have to hold on pause for an entire day berry picking or foraging for food because you have to learn how to make string. You don't want to have to do that on your first day. You're going to have to fucking survive. You're going to want to know that shit before you get in that survival situation. That's why I've talked about, you know, survival and stuff on my channel, is because that's what you need to be doing right now. They don't want you to know how to survive so that when shit hits the fan, because it's not an if, it's a when. You think the electricity is just going to be available like this forever? The infrastructure eventually collapses. When you get into a desperate situation, once that system resets, like it always does. In history, it always has reset, and it's going to reset again. When it does reset, you want to be prepared. But they don't want you to be prepared, so that you are desperate and you need to go to their shelters. What are they going to do at the shelters? Well, they got your attention now, don't they? And they didn't have to pay very much for it either. That's why they're winning. That's why corruption is winning. Open your eyes. Be more aware. Do some research. You know, like the project that I was watching, I was talking about, and I brought up for the last couple of days because I was, you know, strongly watching it. I was literally up all night watching the freaking chart, making calls, and, you know, I made some people money. But every time I said, this is a minute-to-minute observation, I made it apparent, by the way. But I was watching that whole time. I forget where I was going with that. I was watching the whole time. And basically these trolls would come into the chat, and then they would be like, I would see the chart go up, down, like start going volatile at the same time that these fucking trolls come into the chat and they start talking bullshit. And then after some up and down, then downs, and then it got support, and then you saw a whole new set of trolls come in and start saying blasphemous stuff like, oh, a whale's gonna buy this. Oh man, buy. And they're doing all that stuff. I saw the pattern. I can pick up on these patterns. The attention market is everywhere. The attention market must be, based on my observations, the people that are running the whole thing. So the people that are going around trolling and being assholes, saying things that are blasphemous, things that aren't even like in touch with reality in the modern world, these people are rich people. They're fucking cave dwellers. Those trolls saying this nasty shit are angry rich people that need to keep taking your money. That's who's sowing chaos into this whole thing, and that's who's in charge. Because they got your attention. And they got your attention because they got the money and you don't. Stop fighting your fucking, you know, the people in your own community. You see somebody on a bike, don't swerve the fuck at them. They are way worse off than you. Don't swerve the fuck at them. Don't beep at them and everything. Just follow the rules of the road. Be decent people. It's going to pay off in a big way later on, but it also can hurt you if you're rude. The way it's hurting vehicle drivers is I don't need a vehicle. The vehicle is useless to me. If anything happens when it comes to protecting people's rights to use a vehicle, I'm not going to be on board. That's where everybody, loses. Everybody who's driving right now, that's where you lose. Why the hell am I going to advocate for anything that protects drivers? I'm on the bike. And if you're going to make it worse for me, no wonder you got poor people fucking voting against modern civilization. I've been saying this for a while. You keep fucking acting like assholes. That's where my mentality is leaning towards. Do I make my votes with that decision? No, because I've been making my votes for the future, for, a strong future. But my brain, because of the situation I'm in, I'm seeing why other people make these stupid decisions. I'm seeing why you get mail-in ballots and poor people, people that are homeless making these stupid decisions. It's because they're fucking pissed and they don't know who the hell to turn to. You're gonna like, maybe you do stupid shit like throw a fucking pile of shit at somebody as you're driving by because, oh, they're homeless, ha ha ha. If you're doing stupid shit like that, they're gonna hate you forever. They're not gonna want modern civilization. You want to be more decent. It's gonna pay off by you not having to pay the price for being an asshole, for being rude. I'm not saying, I bet every one of those homeless people that voted not in favor of, a decent living, I bet that they actually want the good living, but they don't know how to get to it. Because they keep trying to make the right decision. And how the fuck, you keep making the right decision, then you got asshole rich trolls that are going around and trying to destroy shit. Many of them are interlocked with gangs involved with the attention market. Potentially even part of the CIA, I don't know. These people seem to be playing a psychological operation rather than an actual, like, getting anything done operation. No money is moved until there's already money in it. I watched tokens. I went live on my stream on Pump Fun for fucking hours and hours and hours. I didn't buy into it again. Nobody touched the coin. The second that I put another dollar on it, this was 4 or 5 months ago. Second I put another dollar on it, that's when somebody else is like, oh, he's gonna buy. Oh, he might throw some more in. Oh, he might have a bot active. I gotta get involved with that. I gotta make sure, because this is activity here. I gotta make sure that I'm part of that attention. I see the actions. I'm able to pick up on these patterns. They think I'm fucking stupid. No, I'm picking up on these deep set patterns. And I've pinpointed it. And it's not hard to pinpoint. It's a pretty centralized operation. If you look at the patterns, mainstream media, this even includes Fox News to a certain degree. All these people they have to be more than likely sitting in a room together, making decisions together, and deciding on how they're going to make their money through people's attention. You got certain news stations coming out with the story before other news stations. Why? Because they have an attention market that's different than the other news station. But you got plenty of news stations coming out with all the same story too. A lot of those news organizations are sitting in a back room together, and they're playing both sides. This is everywhere. This is in business. This is in, on the streets. This is everywhere. Politics, everywhere, especially in politics. That's the real enemy, is the fact that only a few people have control of that attention market. And they have that control of the attention market because they're rich, and poor people keep fighting amongst each other, thinking that poor people have anything to do with their outcome. No. The person riding a fucking bike, dude, you think he'd be on a fucking bike if he was getting all these special benefits and everything? No, this stuff has been given to foreigners. This is given to scammers, fraudsters, people that are in the cave. Some of them go out and they beg for a living. But somebody that's on a fucking bike actually interacting with the community around them, you can clearly see that. That's not your enemy. Stop attacking them. Because now they hate modern civilization. It doesn't work out for them. Then they're going to make stupid decisions. They're going to vote in stupid ways. Be decent to the people in your community. Like, how are you going to hate somebody because they have less than you? That makes no sense. You should hate somebody because they've hurt you. It's fucking rich people telling you to hate those who have less. They got your attention, don't they? They got you to believe in their nasty little trolley movement. They got you to stoop down to their hateful level by hating people who have less. Look at the trend. It's a fucking trend, man. Middle class is not rich. There's fucking upper class, man. There's people that gotta pay their bills. There's normal fucking people. And those middle class people need to stop hating the fucking poor people. There's people above you that are hurting you, that are fucking with your head. They run the news organizations. They even run the podcasters at this point. You know when it's a decentralized podcaster because they're always on point. They're always like somebody that's not controlled by an attention market. You know that person is not controlled by the attention market because you can see that they're consistent. Whatever crazy belief they have, at least they're consistent and they fully understand their belief. Now you ask Destiny something, and he's like, oh, I don't know how to answer that. Oh, I don't know how to answer that. He doesn't even try. That's when you know that the person is controlled by an attention market. And it's nuts that people can't see through this because this is like common sense shit. But it's like nobody wants to take a moment and a pause to observe what's around them, what's actually going on in its full capacity and its full actual reality of it and the full truth of it. You know, there's a hard truth and you're going to have to swallow it. And you're going to have to get over it. You're going to have to not get angry about it. But what you need to do is be aware. I'm a little bit angry about it because people ain't noticing it. You know, you should notice it. They're paying for your attention through ad agencies. Like, it's insane. They decide which video becomes more important in the algorithm. Because they'll actually artificially pump the numbers. I know the difference because I could see the artificially pumped numbers when I played Clash Royale and Brawl Stars. I saw the artificially pumped numbers on there. And then I go on to Farmtown or Telegram. All play-to-earn crypto games do not get attention. None of them get attention. That attention market does not exist in most cases. But that attention market is being built, and it's being built around pump fun and token pump and dumps. But you might ask, what do you mean? How are they doing pump and dumps and they're just getting away with it constantly? It's because they're not responsible for the token if they're not actually in the token or created the token. They're just promoting a token. They're selling attention, not the token. They're getting paid to grab your attention. Media is not responsible. They're like a journalist. That's the loophole. If what they say leads to a bad outcome, they're not responsible because all they're doing is selling attention. That's why Section 230, stuff like that. That's why, these companies are protected. And until you guys are aware of it and learn how to get out of it by maybe looking around and actually seeing what normal people are doing, you go watch stuff like people doing crafts, working on a workbench, even, painting and stuff, silly little, gay stuff. If you're, into that, if you're not into that, still go look around, go look at what people are actually doing around you and find, beauty in reality. Swallow the hard truth and then just experience it for once. Look around. You find a creator like me. I wasn't really necessarily a creator. I'm more of like somebody that should be speaking in front of thousands of people with no script, but in a better position so I could truly express this quite a bit better. But, I always knew what to say, but it was just hard to say it, if that made sense, for a long time. And I knew that if I were to say something, then I'm going to make an enemy here or there. There's a lot of that in my past where I hadn't, kept up with that. But as I continued to think and then try to talk and see what other people were doing and knowing the truth, hearing real opinions from people all the way around the world, there's some people in each nation that speak English and want to speak it to Americans specifically, and they're doing kind of like an interview thing, and then I'll go and interview them too. Like, I want to know what's going on in their country. I was doing that with thousands of people. There was like a 5-year span of my life where I did just constant calls with everybody. It's been up to 17,000 real interactions with people, of course, online, but through calls. That was my last estimate, but I was like a yearly estimate in my head. I stacked it up, and it was like, because I was paying attention to that. I was like, yeah, I've talked to this many fucking people today. I was talking like 50, 100 people a day regularly. And I would ask questions from everybody. I'd be ranting too. I'd be talking about all this stuff. So that's why I even went to go make this channel. This channel wasn't originally like a gaming channel. It was this kind of channel where I'd talk about stuff, but it was also going to be a podcast type of channel. It's stuff that people are actually making their money on. I was calling random people, and I was getting their opinion, and even people from different countries where you don't even know their opinion because you haven't talked to them. But yeah, they got your attention because you're not going out there and actually looking around at what's there. You look at everything as a threat. You're stuck in a fucking cave. That's why nobody's actually helpful to those who need the help. They only help the motherfucker that's doing begging for a living. He's making way more money. He's making probably 10 times more than me while I'm going out there on my bike. Because he's doing that for a living. He's out there on the fucking street. He's probably smoking crack and stuff. He's probably doing drugs. And you're giving him money. And you're like, oh, it's because he's out there with the sign. If you see a sign, somebody's got like a whole family of kids, and they're like, oh man, they got their families sitting there, throw them a fucking 50, dude. You know what I mean? That's way different than somebody sitting out there with a fucking sign, and they're like, you see them every day in different areas. I saw them in different areas because I was a DoorDasher in a vehicle, so I was always like in different areas. Even on my bike, I would see the similarities, but I'd see them on a different fucking corner in a different area, a whole different day. I'm like, dude, this dude's doing it professionally. He's doing it as a job, and he must be making a lot of money to continuously be doing this and making it to these other destinations. So that person out there with the sign, he don't got a family. He's just out there like, many people have probably seen the video. A dude, he's out there doing the begging for change, and then he gets like a 10, 20 spot, and then some change sitting in the bottom of his jar, and he's like, all right, that's good enough. And then he'll jump into his vehicle and he'll get out and he'll throw a suit on, and he's like this different person, like he had a vehicle the whole time. That's like basically what's going on out there. That's the kind of scams that are going on out there. And y'all are falling for it because you're dug into attention. The attention market has you, and you can't see the truth in front of your face. You see locals interacting with each other. They're not the dude that's going around to different regions begging for change. The locals ain't talking to the dude that's begging for fucking change in the middle of the street with a sign that's here on this day and then there on another day, and doing that professionally. They might have built up a relationship with a couple of people, but they're not there all day hanging out with the fucking hood, You see these people that are out there, they're in the hood. Well, and then you go to Los Angeles, it's a whole different story, because they're all getting like huge freebies, apparently. Apparently in Los Angeles, it's a lot different. A lot of these Democrat-run cities, that's where the exception comes in. That's where you have to be aware of everything. You got to actually dig into the truth and really look at the bigger picture. It's because it doesn't apply to everything. You got people in the city that everybody's begging. But they're getting plenty of money to go and eat. They're just spending their money on like nothingness. They don't even buy a good tent. So, if I had even like a quarter of what they've been getting support on, I'd be on my feet totally. There's no freebies for somebody who works. There's no freebie, even if you're working limited hours. There's no freebies for somebody that actually needs it. So that's the whole point. And it's not that the money's not there. It's that the money's getting given to the wrong people through fraud. So Nick Shirley came out with a new video, if you guys haven't seen that yet, exposing the New York City fraud. Damn. He's going for it, man. That's crazy. Go check it out. Nick Shirley, if you guys don't know him, you should know him by now. And he did a video about 19-20 hours ago, I think it was. I've been watching these tokens so much that I had to do a little catching up. So, what is it? I've been paying attention to the Venezuela quakes. That's a big problem. The attention is not being given to that situation. People don't want, like, the attention market doesn't want you to panic, because if you like panic about a real problem, you know, you got high-rise buildings basically collapsing in New York. You heard about that? The Manhattan building is a high-rise. If the middle section had crunched, you could see the entire building, like the floor was like halved, or like a third was cut out. They don't want you to realize that an earthquake can, like that, would cause absolute mayhem. Miami flattened. You'd have like tons of shit going on, dude. Like if Florida got hit with an earthquake right now, I don't think the cities would survive that. There's a lot of brick buildings in the middle of these town centers. I don't think that they would survive a quake. So you'd see a lot of sadness going around if an earthquake hit. They don't want you to see the actual problem, so you don't prepare for that. They want you in as desperate of a situation as possible without looking like the enemy. That's the point. This is fucking war, dude. They're at war with regular people for your attention. That's how they get rich. They got to get everybody's money. They got to get $1 from everybody. So they got to be everywhere. They can't do that if they don't have everyone's attention. So Spencer Pratt should have won. The big smoking gun is that they didn't actually post anything on the day of when the election was going on. When Spencer Pratt was winning, there was nothing in my feed about it. I had to go deep dive. I had to go fucking Google search to find out what was going on. I go Google search. The only thing I see about him in the actual, about the actual race, because I looked up about the race, the only thing I see about the fucking race is like other shit. Nothing about the actual race. They don't know about the results yet. So they were not giving attention to a race that Spencer Pratt was clearly winning, and that was day number 1. Day number 2, when the ballots started, the mail-in ballots were coming in, and they were counting the person who ended up coming up and above Spencer Pratt by people who were living in caves that, voted based on their limited amounts of information. When those ballots came in, that's the only time they started reporting on it. They're controlling the attention market. That's another example of the attention market. Spencer Pratt got fucked over, in my opinion. Hopefully we can, solve it. Hopefully it can be proved. But that was an eye-opener for me, a confirmation for me to know exactly what's going on. When I looked for the information on the day of, I didn't see anybody posting anything, whether or not they were posting and it wasn't showing up in the algorithm. Oh, this is unimportant. Even though the dude has already gone viral, at least in his area, and then definitely among the conservative, groups. It's all fishy to me. It's all weird to me. So I'm glad that Spencer Pratt's talking about it, and he's actually taking some, movements. I believe he was talking to Trump too about it. Like, there's moves being made, and this attention market has been in the Trump space. They took over a piece of the Trump space. I can see it in the advertisements that I get. So I'm on Atlas Earth, and I'm seeing these advertisements like 250th anniversary, For Patriots generator. And they're trying to talk, they're trying to sound like that rather than actually being that. Like as if, if we got an accent, then we're going to be voting for Trump. Like that's how they're fucking talking to you in the advertisement. I can tell it's a grift. For Patriots. I doubt that they're fucking even conservative or even a Trump supporter. But that's the kind of shit that's getting pumped in your face. So it's not genuine Trump support was thrown in your fucking face. And then that support turned on Trump. Never Trumpers got into the space, took over quite a bit of the media, and then they were like, oh, well, Trump didn't listen to us, so down Trump. That's what they did. And they fucked with your fucking heads. They made you emotional. They made you think that a war was started with Iran, a country that has been threatening nuclear holocaust to the entire fucking planet. They made you think Trump started that fucking war. That's insane. They had your attention, didn't they? That's who's really in charge in destroying shit. That's the real destructive force. And these are rich fuckers trying to hold on to their uselessness, basically. They want to stay in charge and do nothing. That's who's tricking you guys. To hate each other. To hate the guy riding a bike. Doing an actual job. And then you feel bad and you give $100 to somebody that's sitting in the middle of the road with the sign acting like, oh, he's doing actual work. The dude on a bike that fucking risked his life 45 miles per hour with cars fucking going by him. Bro, that person ain't doing work? Okay. The person standing out on a street with a sign, please, I need $20. That guy's making 5 times, 10 times more money than I am by sitting there with a fucking sign, and he ain't doing anything. That's where your attention is. It's out in the open. You don't look, and the whole point is that you're not looking at the actual reality that's around you. You're not actually seeing what's really going on. You're allowing yourselves to be tricked. So the real solution is, for all of this, is to be more aware, and for people to continue spreading that awareness. Be more aware. Don't be hateful, but spread that awareness. Reason why I come off as a little bit pissed is because I have been fucked over. Okay? I got people, like, lately what I'm dealing with is people on the fucking road being rude. Taking full trailers, going around me when they didn't have to. They fucking almost kill me trying to get past me, and then they have to stop right up ahead of me, so I'm sitting behind them. They threatened my life with a fucking trailer. They had total disregard for me being anywhere near on that road, and then they are stopping up ahead of me. Some of them are taking lefts, so I can go past them. Some of them, I get passed by them dangerously. They get really dangerously close, and they're in front of me, and then they take a left turn, and then I'm passing by them. There was no fucking reason for you to risk my life like that. This is the kind of mentality that's going on because people are not being decent. And people got to stop this shit. And we got to get the fucking foreigners out so I know if it's a foreigner or a fucking American that can be held accountable. Because there is a civil war going on, as you can see. The attention market is not all the foreigners. The attention market is, there's Americans, there's Canadians, there's South Americans, there's Chinese, there's Iranians, there's people running the attention market from all over the world. And they're kind of in a centralized way in a lot of cases. There's long, stretched out spider webs that are very interconnected that are running everything. Everybody's like, there's a conspiracy, there's elites above us. That elite system is controlling your attention, keeping your eyes where they want your eyes. Start looking outside of that cave that they want to keep, that very limited, narrowed vision that they want to keep you in. Look outside of that for a minute. And look into the Spencer Pratt situation, because that's insane. First day that election was going on, just for a primary run, they wouldn't post anything. There was no posting about it, but Spencer Pratt was winning. I posted a video that day, in my shorts. I got like 3,000 views or something. I got thousands of views on the fucking thing. All right. People were interested. People wanted to find information about it. Apparently, they didn't view my other videos. They saw my Spencer Pratt video. Thousands of people. And you're telling me people didn't want to find out more information, and that there was, maybe perhaps limited information artificially controlled? I couldn't find information that day. And then the next day, when that lady underneath him starts climbing up, that's when they started doing reporting on it. This is connected. The attention market. I'm going to say it 50 fucking times during this video. The attention market has your attention. Divert your attention for a minute. Start looking at the world around you and start being decent too. And stop funding trolls. I think I got my point across. So look into the situation. I appreciate I don't know if I got any likes because I can't see the like counter, so I appreciate the likes if you guys like the video. If you guys are subscribers, I appreciate you being here. If you're not trolls, I appreciate you. I hope that this helped you open up your mind a little bit to what's really going on in the bigger picture. And this is dangerous for me to say because it's that big. Anyways, have a good day. Thank you for joining. Godfinger. I don't know why. I don't know why I have to say the name. I feel like I need to say the name just in case. So just so no impersonators coming at me.